Hi guys, and thanks for clicking on the video. Believe it or not, I've not actually shot the bow yet, even though I've done all those things you've seen in the video so far. Going to be going to the archery club tomorrow, where the facilities are a little better for making sure that things are properly tuned as far as the walkback tuning and that sort of stuff's concerned. I do plan on taking the camera along with me as well, weather permitting. As you can see, it's a little bit overcast here in Adelaide at the moment. But I couldn't resist and I need to shoot this bow. So I thought I may as well do the first couple of shots on camera so that you guys can see how it goes. And I'll talk through the draw cycle and all that sort of stuff as well. I'm at about 2 meters away from the target at the moment. So if you know your walkback tuning, basically what that means is that at this point I'll be moving the sight to get the arrow onto the string that's on the target. I do have a camera set up looking at the target as well, so you'll be able to see where the arrows are going. So once that's done, if I'm comfortable, I will then move back to 20 meters and do the same thing, but at 20 meters, as you know, then you start moving your rest. So once you've moved your rest at that distance, then you've got to come back close again and see if you need to readjust your sight. I'm not sure if I'm going to go through the whole process here today, because as I said, I'm going to the club tomorrow, and then I can do it at 2 meters and 60 meters, which is obviously going to be better than at 2 meters and 20 meters. So anyway, like I said, I've been itching to shoot this bow since I bought it, and it's been almost 6 weeks that it's been looking at me. So let's get a couple of shots in and see how the bow handles. So out of the box, I'm pretty sure this thing's set to 29 inches. I'll still have to muck around with that a little bit. I should probably set it to 28.5. But the other bow that I've been shooting at 29. So I should be comfortable at 29 inches with this one. And the poundage on this bow at the moment is 62 pounds. Probably going to turn it down to somewhere around the 56 pound range, because that's where I'm comfortable shooting. You saw me tie the D-loop on in the previous video. Let's give it a shot. Alright, so that's obviously going to be something to get used to, using the blade rest. As I said, I used to use well, my other bow has a drop away rest on it, so I've never really had to worry about the way that I draw the bow to keep the arrow on the blade. So let's have a look again. Alright, so clearly my draw is a little bit wobbly. That would be probably to do with the fact that the poundage is a bit higher than what I'm used to shooting. So we'll do that again. I'll try and do it as smoothly as I can. And the one thing I noticed straight off the bat with this bow is it's right there. It feels like I'm already pulling the full poundage. So it's the same hardness. Whoop, there, I dropped off the rest again. It's the same until I get to the valley, and the valley is very short. So it drops off about there, and that I feel like I can hold all day. So let's shoot it. I like it. It's nothing like the Carbon Spider 34. This feels like it's a faster bow. I do have a chronograph, but with the lighting the way it is today, there's no way that it's going to pick up the arrows for me. Because my chrono is a bit temperamental and needs good bright light. Obviously I don't have a peep sight in the string yet. I like to generally shoot the bow a bunch of times, at least maybe 100 arrows before I tie in the peep, just to make sure that the string is settled properly. I do think maybe my D-loop is a little bit too close together because I think I'm getting a bit of knock pinch. So I'll have to fix that up as well before tomorrow. But let's have another shot. So it looks like maybe it's a little bit too close. Came off the rest again. Really gonna have to work on that. No. Alright, so I think the problem is that the knock's getting pinched. Because what I'm noticing is the arrow is actually lifting off the rest as I draw back. That's why in the previous video when I cinched up the D-loop I didn't do it super tight, because I knew that I potentially would have to move it a little bit. So as you can see now, it's got some space underneath it. In theory I shouldn't get that issue. Let's try again. Perfect. Getting used to the shorter valley is going to take a little bit of time, I'm sure. I do want to put the 75% draw stops on there to feel what that feels like as well. So I may do that before tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure at this stage. But if I do, I'll let you guys know how I did that as well. The other thing I'm noticing is the handle is very, very different to the Carbon Spyder 34. I feel like I'm going to be putting the steeper handle insert into the riser because I like having my wrist a little bit high. And at the moment that means that if I'm high wristing this, I've got nothing pushed up against the riser. It's kind of like that. So by putting that other insert in, I can have my hand the way that I like to have it and still have contact with the riser. So let's shoot another arrow and see how we go. So I definitely like the feel of the bow on the shot. I think the draw will take a little bit of getting used to. If I turn it down to the 56 pounds, it will probably be a little nicer. As far as the shot's concerned, there's no stabilizers on this. There's only the vibration dampeners that came from the factory, and I'm finding that as far as hand shock is concerned, there's none. It's just dead. There's no vibration in the bow. There's no reverberation. The other thing I may do is move the string off of the string stop just a smidge. I generally like to have that set up so that a piece of paper can fit in there, and that's about it. That's a little bit too tight for my liking. So when you change your draw length, you'll usually have to change the string stop, and it can also affect your peep height and all that sort of stuff, so D-loop height, etc. I'll grab those arrows and I'll just shoot a few more, so bear with me. So my initial idea of going back to 20 and trying to move things and whatnot, what I didn't think about is I don't have a peep sight in the string, so chances are I'm going to have to redo it later anyway. So I think what I may do instead is just do the 100 shots into the bail and concentrate on my shot execution while I'm doing that to shoot the string in, and then tomorrow at the club I can put the peep sight in. Now I'm not going to make you guys sit and watch me shoot a whole 100 shots. What I may do is call the video a day after the next couple, and then hopefully I'll get to film at the club tomorrow, and I'll bring out the next video where I put the peep sight in and then do the walk back tuning. So they do seem to be hitting in a line on the target. So I may just bring the windage over a smidge to see if I can get them on that line. So I brought the sight around one full rotation. We'll see where this one ends up. Dead center in the line. We'll do another one, and then I'll call this video a day. I think I Robin Hood in an arrow. Alright, so it's not a crazy feat by any stretch of the imagination at this distance, but even without a peep sight, at least there's some sort of consistency. That arrow's going to be okay thanks to the pin nocks. If you don't shoot pin nocks and you shoot good groups, I definitely recommend shooting the pin nocks because they can save you a lot of money. So I'll shoot these three again. Hopefully I don't break another nock, but nocks are cheaper than arrows, so. That one's touching the line. Really going to have to work on my grip and figure this bow out. So a lot of the time people spend the money and they buy a new bow and they expect to shoot better scores and everything, but it's hardly ever the case. Usually what happens for the first little while until you get used to the bow, you might just stay the same. You might actually drop down and score a little less than what you usually do. But once you've worked the bow out, the grip out, all that sort of stuff, tuned it correctly, generally speaking, you'll shoot a little better. But again, it's not necessarily because of the new equipment. Usually it's a case of because you've bought a new bow, you want to be out there shooting it more because you're excited about the new equipment, and shooting more equals shooting better. So my recommendation isn't necessarily buy a new bow to improve your scores, but if you're starting to feel like you're losing motivation to get out and shoot, buying a new bow might give you that motivation back. So let's shoot this one and see how it goes. Same spot on the line. Luckily I didn't break another knock. I'll try and aim a little bit lower this time. Touching the line as well, so that's without a peep sight. I don't do a lot of shooting without a peep sight, so I'm not very good at it, but even with my crappy skills as far as that's concerned, those arrows are looking pretty close to that line, so I feel like it's a decent starting point. I've shot the bow now, which is awesome. I really like the way it feels in the hand. The balance on it is great. It's not wobbling around very much, even though I don't have any stabilizers on it at all. After the shot, I don't even feel any hand shock after the shot, even with no stabilizers on it. I know I've said that already. I'm feeling like this is going to be a good bow. Anyway, we'll call it quits there. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like or a comment below, and if you haven't already done so, click on the subscribe button and hit that little bell icon so that you can get a notification each time I upload a new video. The next couple of videos are going to be more of my Pro-Force build-up, and I've got a couple of videos in mind where I'll be doing some arrow fletching, and I also bought a case for this that's not a bow case, but it will work perfectly. So if you want to see that video, remember to click that bell icon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So have a great week, and remember, just do good shots.